Shout out to our sponsor, Blue Apron. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes with ingredients and step-by-step instructions that make cooking easy. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins. If you were hoping PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds Xbox exclusivity was just some word trickery on the part of Microsoft, and who could blame you, because some of it was a little bit confusing during their press conference at E3, it looks like it actually is going to be console exclusive to the Xbox. While there wasn't much comment about whether or not the game would stay solely on Xbox at the show, Express is reporting that they have confirmation the game won't be coming to PS4, considering the game's massive popularity on PC and with Gus's everywhere. It's moved more than 3 million copies in its launch window alone. That's a pretty big steal for Microsoft if it's true. Battlegrounds makes its way to Xbox game preview later this year, gets its full release in 2018, and they've already announced they're adding zombies, so it's kind of a trifecta at this point. Sony's PS4 lead might be huge right now in terms of sales, but they think one upcoming exclusive in particular is really going to put them over the top, and that is SpiderMan. Speaking with The Telegraph, Sony president and CEO Shawn Layden said that SpiderMan is going to fuel them to some major sales milestones on their PS4 console. Layden said, "Well, like I tell my sales guys, the first 60 million is the easy 60 million. To get to 100 million, it's about how do we grow the pie." He went on to say, "But for us in the US, I think the biggest chance we have to broaden that pie is with a game like SpiderMan." And honestly, judging by what we've seen with Spider-Man, that's gonna be some pretty tasty pie indeed. Still, what you tell your sales guys, huh? Cool, bro. And sticking with the theme of exclusives, Nintendo's been giving some slight details about the release window of their biggest announcements from E3. Well, kind of. In a recent interview with VentureBeat, Nintendo of America Corporate Communications Director, wow, that's kind of a mouthful, Charlie Shibata may have said a little bit more than intended about 2018's lineup. Shibata told VentureBeat, "We've announced a nice lineup through this year, and next year we have some big games coming with Metroid 4. 2018 will be around Metroid, Kirby, Yoshi, and a new Pokemon game has been announced. We feel good about the lineup for this year and beyond." However, Nintendo showed up to squash fan excitement about the prospect of both Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon next year, clarifying to VentureBeat that Shibata should have said 2018 and beyond. One of the biggest surprises from last week's E3 was Ubisoft's Black Flag standalone pirate game that's not an Assassin's Creed, Skull and Bones. While the company talked quite a bit about the game's PvP modes, they didn't say quite as much about its single-player side. However, they've now confirmed to PC Gamer that it will feature a full narrative single-player campaign where players will encounter iconic characters and memorable rival pirates. So, if your pirate antics don't include swashbuckling with your friends because, let's face it, other people suck, well, now you can buckle those swashes solo, too. And really, isn't that what we all want, is to be alone in a big, empty ocean where no one can bother us? Now, the updated Crash Bandicoot N.Sane trilogy officially drops next week. Now, the developer is sharing a few details about the game, which apparently way more difficult than anyone first realized. In a new interview with Ars Technica, Vicarious Visions designer Dan Tanguay revealed that the trilogy was almost entirely rebuilt from scratch. The original materials and source code hadn't been salvaged from the 90s Crash games. In fact, the only thing they had to work with were some of the original 3D meshes, which gave them at least a small idea on how the game's world was spaced out. But that's about it. That makes it even more impressive that the N.Sane trilogy looks and feels so much like the originals and is further proof that video games are pretty magical. The N.Sane trilogy is out on June 30th. Actually, if you want to know more about it, we actually have a gameplay demo from E3 that, if not out, is going to be coming out overnight, so you can see that. The director of the upcoming Prison Break game, A Way Out, apparently not a big console fan, believe it or not. In an interview with Engadget, Joseph Fares took a shot at the power of PlayStation 4. Specifically, he said, "This is like a 5-year-old PC. If consoles were as powerful as PCs are today, you would see all different games. Most of the work developers put out there is to make them work on consoles." Yeah, I mean, they don't ironically / non-ironically call it the PC Master Race for nothing. It's because they've got an awful lot of horsepower to put out there, and also multiple graphics cards in one machine. It's an amazing new feature. Regardless, A Way Out is due for release next year on PC, and its much less powerful cousins that he apparently hates, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, after E3, there's been a lot of speculation about the upcoming Super Mario Odyssey game and what exactly Mario's magical hat is capable of. This is a fun one. Does it consume the bodies of unsuspecting dinosaurs? Has Mario just been an innocent plumber this whole time, possessed by an evil demon cap? Well, Nintendo kind of wants to clear the air because we all think these are hilarious jokes, but Nintendo's apparently very concerned. In a tweet, Nintendo of America says the hat captures people instead of possessing them. So yeah, the cap just imprisons people instead of possessing their souls. Way better. Anyway, can't wait to play Super Mario Odyssey. Also, there are multiple tells. There was the one going around about, did Kirby eat Mario or did Mario capture Kirby? There are two ways to tell. It's not just the hat and it's not just the mustache. You also gotta look at the eyes, folks. The eyes are the windows to the soul. They'll tell you if it's actually Mario in there. Anyway, everyone's talking about the new action-packed Game of Thrones trailer that released yesterday. If you haven't seen the preview for Season 7, it looks like full-blown war is broken out pretty much everywhere, which you'd expect. We see Daenerys Targaryen in her ancestral home of Dragonstone, which is very exciting. Jon Snow fighting a White Walker, which is also very exciting. And also, the Onion Knight holding a flaming sword. That's very exciting because he may be my favorite character in the whole thing because he's just a good dude. Anyway, we're not gonna have long to wait to find out what all of these things are and how they fit together because the new season arrives July 16th. Super excited. I kind of want to do nerd-alongs where every Monday we come in and just do a live stream yakking about it, but I'm not sure if that would actually go over well, so we'll see. In the meantime, the Fantastic Four has been in limbo for a few years now after a few underwhelming attempts to bring it to the big screen, I guess is a nice way of putting it. So, what's next for the only superhero team that can't seem to make money at the box office? A kids movie. Yep, Bleeding Cool reports that Fox is looking to reboot the franchise in a more family-friendly film. It would apparently focus on the children of Reed Richards and Susan Storm, who would be joined by the Human Torch and the Thing, who apparently have remained childless, which makes sense. I can't imagine a lot of people lined up to have sex with a fireball or a walking, talking geological formation. Although, let's not just rule it out. There are a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of preferences. Someone might want to bang The Rock. Well, I mean, you know, a rock. We all want to bang The Rock. Anyway, Seth Grahame-Smith, who's written comics for Marvel, as well as Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is underrated, you should check it out if you haven't watched it, is apparently working on a script. Feel free to use our jokes in your family-friendly movie, dude. Maybe cast The Rock. Come on. So, just a few days after it was announced that the directors of the Han Solo movie were fired, yay! Congratulations, everyone! We've already got a new director. StarWars.com announced today that Ron Howard is officially stepping in to take over the movie. If you hadn't heard in our update yesterday, and the fact that us and ATC and Nerdist all used basically the same thumbnail. The previous directors, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, got fired from the movie recently after some pretty major differences of opinion with the Lucasfilm bosses. So we'll see how Ron Howard does, but he definitely has some experience making big budget studio films, and hopefully he'll make a cameo as the Arrested Development narrator. Just saying, put it out there, that'd be fun. And amazingly, Lucasfilm says the movie is still scheduled to release on May 25th, 2018. That is kind of a tall order for him to pull the movie together, completely reshape it in Disney's vision, and get it out on the same exact date. So we're pulling for you, Ron. It's gonna be a lot of work. Now, after its court victory against Oculus Rift, game publisher ZeniMax now wants to stop all sales of the Rift or get a cut of the proceeds. If you haven't been following this long legal saga that's been very involved, we'll try to give you the short version. ZeniMax sued Oculus and its owner Facebook, saying the VR headset was built on stolen technology, and a few months ago, a Texas jury gave ZeniMax a partial victory and awarded $500 million. But ZeniMax says that's not enough and now either wants the Rift to be removed from sale or to receive 20% of the company's revenue for the next 10 years. So see how that all shakes out, but all sides involved appear to be digging in for the long haul. So you thought it was over with the ruling? It might just be getting messier. Anyway, that's all the news we have for you guys today. Let us know what you think of these stories in the comments down below. Also, what else should The Rock be cast as? Leave it in the comments, and to make sure you get all the news from every corner of the internet every day, like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the Now. Thanks to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. Blue Apron helps you become a wonderkind in the kitchen. You're very impressive. They offer new recipes for you to try every week with no weekly commitments, so you get deliveries when you want them. When you're busy, you don't have to deal with it. Every meal comes with a step-by-step recipe card and all the highest quality ingredients you need to make your meal in 40 minutes or less. You can check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. It's free food, what's not to love? And there are some really awesome meals too. Some of the new highlights. Try peach honey glazed chicken with mashed sweet potatoes, collard greens, and Thai basil, which sounds awesome. But if that doesn't do it for you, there is warmer smoked trout and asparagus salad with fingerling potatoes and garlic croutons. Sounds fancy, but totally makeable. And now I'm hungry.